El-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulihi kareem Muhammad sallallahu. Dear brothers and sisters, I greet you. Assalamu alaikum. I just want to take a few minutes and share what I can, very important information in relations to this, but in a bigger way of those relating to me and the Imam, to remind us all what Allah says in the Quran in Surah 35, the originator, that whatever Allah opens up to you of His mercy, there is none that can stop it. So if Allah intends for you to have something, no matter what it looks like, somebody got in the way or intentional, that Allah will give it to you. So here, I just mentioned that I want to just take a few minutes and share with you this statement from Imam Muhammad. Not even so much the statement, but as I've shared with you before, that Imam Muhammad and our communication, I wrote him more than he wrote me. He wrote me back a few times, but most of our communication was in person, but they were not planned meetings. And I told you a few times, a phone call. He called me. Okay, so here, I just want to tell you, in 1991, as you all know, I had written this book, Religion of Islam and the Nation of Islam. The Religion of Islam and the Nation of Islam, what is the difference? I've shown this before, but this is very important, what I want to share with you here in relations to that. So I wrote that book just like a regular brother, like you all, trying to help the community, help the Imam, etc. Give a proper image. So, I was a writer in that way, and I was sort of a loner, because it takes time to write, etc. But anyway, Imam Muhammad gave me a phone call. This was in April 91. I wrote the book, I advertised it, but, just did my usual, just as a believer like you all. So Imam Muhammad called me and said, Brother El-Amin, is what he called me most of the time. Brother El-Amin, I read your book and I am so thankful and appreciative, and it's very important. He said, I want to give you a statement to advertise. This is on the phone. And I wrote it down and put this in the Muslim Journal and advertised it. And this is what I did. And this is his statement. But it was a phone. He called me on it. He called me. We hadn't been talking on the phone or anything like that. It wasn't like that. I can pick up the phone anytime. Okay, so, and it says, as you can see, this book by Mustafa El-Amin is an excellent contribution to the Muslim community and the broader community. This new publication helps to preserve the history of our progress as Muslims in America. Now, this is not my focus, this book or this statement. You've seen this. After he gave me that statement, he said, I'm going to be speaking in Baltimore, Maryland. This is April 91. He said, I would like for you to come and speak on anything that you want to speak on. And I'm like, wow, okay, sure. I'm honored, I'm amazed. But, I'm assuming if the Imam say do it, everything, he'll tell his people and everything will fall in place. So I want you all to listen very carefully to this. So, I'm going to show you the paper, the advertisement. I mean, this is the back of the paper for this ad here. And this ad, although I had ran it earlier, this is May of 91. All right? I'll probably have one for April. I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to show you the ad for April. So I'm supposed to come to Baltimore and make some comments behind the Imam or before the Imam. However it was going to go. It was my first time, so I'm assuming that, everything is set up. He'll let everybody know, and they're going to go and do the right thing. Okay, this is why I want you to always remember. You keep the faith in Allah and nobody can stop you if Allah wants you to have something. So now I'm going to show you the ad for Baltimore. Okay? So I'm showing you this because what happened in Baltimore led to something much bigger and more significant. So you see this here, public invited to hear public address by Imam W.D. Muhammad, Muslim American spokesman for human salvation. Topic, subject, Islam promotion of peace. So this is Sunday, April 28th. Now, I drive all the way down. I drive down from Newark here to Maryland. And also, I'll get to the other thing here. I don't want to move too fast. So we get down to Maryland. Now, I'm thinking everything, everybody follow the rule. Imam will tell them and they'll call me up to speak, right? So I get down to Maryland with my family, my wife at the time and my 8-month-old son. And I'm sitting in the audience and everybody is up on the stage. The Imam walks out wherever he's going. Then he comes back. But I'm sitting practically on the front row. The Imam comes in and I'm waiting for somebody to call me up, right? Just like you would think. Normal, you figure things is a certain way, in order. So the Imam gets up and gives his talk. After he finishes, I walk up by the stage and he says, "Where was you at?" I said, "I was right here in the audience." So they told him that they had called me up, but I wasn't there. So I look at him, he looking at me, "Where was you at?" Now, I done disappointed the leader, and I'm a little I said, "I was sitting right there." And I guess he could look in my face, and I could see he was a little disappointed. He said, "Remain alert." And I guess you can see my face. He said, "Like you always are." I want you to get that. Remain alert. Okay, then you see in my face, like you always are. In other words, if you're on alert doing what you do, don't think if me and you got something going or you trying to help me that you have to drop your guard. And it brings to mind, as we're saying this, I don't want to go on too long, what Allah says, what we say in the Quran and in our prayer, right? Oh Allah, we always say in our prayer, "Oh Allah, guide us on the straight path," right? Ihdina sirata mustaqim, right? But guess what? When you read Quran, I think it's Surah 7 or 15, what do Shaitan say? He say, "I'm going to lie in wait on sirata mustaqim." So we asking to be guided to sirata mustaqim, but we have to keep our guard up because Shaitan says, "I'm going to lay in wait for them on sirata mustaqim." And he said, "I'm going to come in front of them, behind them, from the left and the right." So brothers and sisters, that was a hard lesson for me to learn, but I can tell you from that point on, I promise I wasn't letting anyone stop me. And there's times when they would try to block me and I would just say, Brother Imam, assalamu alaikum. And then I would say, "This is Mustafa, El-Amin." And then he would stop and talk to me. And one security said, "What you yelling at?" I say, "Because guys like you are blocking good people from getting to the Imam," right? But anyway, so this happened here. But it led to something even bigger. There, I guess I would have made 10, 15-minute comments, right? Now, after that, I'm going to share a brother, an older pioneer, what he told me that same day. Beautiful brother. Okay, but first, remember, Imam Muhammad called me and gave me this statement. I just want you to remember this here. And then offered me to come to Maryland and speak. And this is on the back of the Muslim Journal. We ran it often, right? Okay, now, there's this beautiful pioneer. All the pioneers and all the others, they know this brother. He's passed now. Brother Chevis Muwakil. He headed up the Pioneers Committee and used to travel everywhere the Imam would go around the country. They would get a bus. He would order my books from me. He would do business and he would take them all over. And this brother was so important that even during the time of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when they had nowhere to stay, they stayed at his house. Beautiful pioneer, brother. And so we had a relationship. He's holding my son, who's 8 months old at that time, right? And we were close. So I told him what had happened. This is in Baltimore. And he said to me, and I'm sharing this with you for the past, present, and future, because we love Imam Muhammad and we try to do whatever good we can. But he always told us about another element. This brother said to me, and it stayed with me the whole time. That's why when you see these pictures of the Imam, you didn't see me with him all the time, but when I needed to get to him, I wasn't letting anything stop after this experience. And what this brother said. So take your pen out. This brother said, Brother El-Amin, Imam Muhammad respects you, he likes you, you're working with him in your own way. He said, but always remember this, that Imam Muhammad's friends, listen carefully, Imam Muhammad's friends may or may not become your friends, but his enemies will definitely become your enemies. You hear that? Very helpful. And just think, Imam Muhammad's friends, like you all, you love him, you support him, you follow him, right? And I'm the same way. Somebody the Imam like you may or may not embrace them. The brother said, Imam Muhammad's friends may or may not become your friends, but his enemies will definitely become your enemies. So always remember that. You will have people around the Imam, then they're there, then they're gone. Not that they're bad people, but in many cases, the enemies will do things to get good people away from Imam Muhammad. Just like many of you all who wrote him, wanted to get around him, and people blocking you, etc. And Imam Muhammad's heart was so big, if somebody was working with him and he saw that they were in some kind of danger, even if he didn't tell them, he would remove them. And most times people say, oh, the Imam busted him. So-and-so got busted. And it got so bad, people started looking for people. I mean, it really got bad like that. Every time somebody was helping him, was his assistant or something, they say, hey, let's see how long he gonna last. Then next thing you know, the phone call. Guess what? So-and-so got busted. Sometimes they deserve that. Other times the Imam might have saw, you never know what messages he was getting behind the scene about somebody else. So sometimes to protect them. I know even me as an Imam, I say to brothers, help me, look, I have to ride this all the way out. You have a full life. If it gets too much for you, have no problem falling back. But anyway, this brother Chavis Muwakil, I don't want to take a lot of time here. Now, when Imam Muhammad, I'm going to jump ahead, came to Masjid Ibrahim in 2003, I mentioned him. Now, this brother has passed. He was about 80 years old when he was working with me. So I'm going to play a clip of what I said and what the Imam said of this brother, just briefly when he came to Masjid Ibrahim. And then I'm going to go to something else. Now, I'm blocked, so I didn't get a chance to speak, right? I wrote down, I listened to the Imam, but I'm disturbed, right? And I felt I made a mistake, but I thought it was basic. Imam tells somebody to come, the people working with him call them up. But no, they didn't do that. In fact, it was actually said to me, man, how you think you're going to just be able to walk up and do something and not let us know? So like I say, me and the Imam relationship came without somebody introducing us. It developed on our own, and one day I'll tell you more about that. And it wasn't in Newark, wasn't in Chicago, it was in the deep South, right? Hattiesburg, Mississippi at New Medina. So if you can be patient, I'm really trying to get to a bigger picture with this in terms of somebody blocking, but Allah wants you to have something. He gave me even more. Now you have seen this before, but my point, you're gonna hear my point in a minute. And this is at Master Ibrahim 2003, May 29th. Audio is not that clear, but you want to hear me mention Brother Chevis. Okay, what you heard me say to the Imam, as I said, he was talking about the sincerity of the people and how they were the pioneers. And I told him the night before I was talking about Brother Chevis, and Imam Muhammad said, "Oh, you know him? You know him?" I said, "Yeah." And then, if you couldn't hear it, I said, "Yeah, he was about 80 years old. He had me by 60 years." And I said, when I would talk to him, he would always say, "Yes, sir. Yes, sir." And then I said, "Brother Chevis, you got me by 65 years and you saying yes, sir." And that's what made the Imam, you see us laughing. And he said, "Yeah," Imam Muhammad said, "I'm not as old as him, but I'll still be saying, yes, sir, when I'm much older too." And I said, "Yeah, that's the training." But anyway, we're going to move from here because keep in mind, the Imam asked me to come to Maryland. He gave me that statement. He appreciated the book so much, so much. And he said, "You can come and you can speak on anything you want." I guess I would have 15 minutes. But I was blocked. I was sitting there, and then they told him later, "Oh, well, we called Mustafa up, but he wasn't here." But it led to something else, even, I would say, bigger and more consequential, even though they thought they had blocked something. Now I'm going to show you something else. Now, look what happens in October. Now I get blocked or they get in the way in April, and Imam called me about the book. Now look what happens. Instead of me having 10, 15 minutes, now there's a program at Chicago State University for me to be the keynote speaker to speak on the religion of Islam, Nation of Islam, what's the difference, and Imam Muhammad attends it. And you've seen some of them. Let's play your little clip. So they blocked or whatever went on to stop that from happening. Well, we had a few minutes, right? Look what Allah allows to happen. So Imam sees, he knows. So now, just a clip of what happened, and listen to what I say, and listen what Imam Muhammad says. Just a clip that I'm going to show you. Okay, just to let you know, brothers and sisters, whatever Allah intends for you to have, no matter what others can do, once Allah opens it up, there's none that can close. And as Muhammad the Prophet ﷺ said, what hit you could not have missed you, and what missed you could not have hit you. What is meant for you? I'm just trying to show you this point here, but we also know some of the other things that was going on, that people got in the way for others that was trying to help the Imam. But that's part of the test, and you never give up. You never give up. So I'm showing you, hopefully, of how we got to this. What led to how we got to this was from what happened in Maryland. What appears something negative led to something even bigger.
Thank you very much. This is El-Amin. So, sisters, I hope that we were able to bring some points, some information to you. We hope that it was beneficial to you. We hope that those who are not Muslim can clearly see the distinction now. Can clearly see the distinction. And we hope that you will recognize that and realize that. And we as Muslims, that we will grow in our religion, we will take our religion, and we will take this effort forward to help clear up this mess. To help clear up this, our brothers and sisters, that we help make, to help clear up this mess and don't fear no one. And let us pass the knowledge on, brothers and sisters, our pioneers, pass it on to the younger brothers. Let them move forward from your experience, from your knowledge. Let us go forward. Let us make our mistakes. Let us make some mistakes. But give us what you have and encourage us to go forward and support good, strong brothers and sisters that's trying to do something for this religion, and don't stand in their way. Peace be unto you. May Allah bless us. Peace be unto you. And don't stand in their way. Peace be unto you. May Allah bless us.
You heard me say, and don't stand in their way. And this is maybe 6 months later from when they stood in the way in Maryland.
Assalamu alaikum. Excuse me. Brother Mustafa, your wife said these beautiful flowers, and we were so anxious to hear this truth that we knew that you were going to present to us all today that we forgot to give them to you. And so these are the flowers from your lovely wife. On behalf of Islamic Students Association, in the name of Allah, the Merciful, the Benefactor, and the Redeemer, the Islamic Students Association presents to Email Warsuddin Muhammad in appreciation of your sincere leadership and dawah efforts that have guided us to the Holy Quran and the life of Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. May Allah continue to bless you with wisdom in the teachings of Al-Islam.
Thank you very much. This is El-Amin. Always trusting God, wishing, praying, the prayer and the blessings beyond the last messenger and prophet of God, Muhammad. I want to say to you that I was just fixed in that seat there. I couldn't move. I wasn't leaving. But I went through it for about, most of my life. I was born under the teachings that you were correcting. But it still fascinates me. I couldn't move. I just couldn't stop it.
know that there's some of these people expecting you to speak, but I think it says guest. Now, not guest speakers, you know. So I'm not only here as a guest to witness the occasion, I've gotten a lot from it. I listened very carefully, and you can't help but have mixed emotions when you've experienced that, you know. I really appreciate the courageous work of the author of the book, and I hope you have some of the books available. Yes, the book is a very worthwhile contribution here. Mustafa El-Amin's book can be purchased. I really appreciate the courageous work of the author of the book, and I hope you have some of the books available. Yes, the book is a very worthwhile contribution here.
See, so now you see what happened. What looked like a setback in April turned out to be something bigger and even more significant. And, you know, you listen a little better now, I'm a little older, but also then I paid attention. You heard Imam comments, he said he appreciated the courageous work. Now, to me, I'm just doing the work to help the community, help the leader, and I'm not seeing it maybe the way he knows and sees. He says courageous work of the author, meaning, you know, there's people that don't want to see that happen. And, you know, you even got some of that now, but most certainly you had people working against the Imam and our community didn't want to see this transition, and not even all outsiders, you know. So probably didn't like the, you know, making that distinction. But anyways, the Imam's words and others was courageous work. But anyway, just wanted to show you and to tell you to have faith. What might look like a setback may be something from Allah to lead to something bigger. So whereas, like I say, in Baltimore in April, and you heard in my comments, I said, do not stand in our way. Do not stand in our way. But from that point on, I did all that I could to not let anyone stand in my way. I didn't give up. And there were people blocking you. And there were people that said things to me outright. You know, who you think you are? You know, you can't get to the Imam unless you get to us. But alhamdulillah, El-Amin, I know others went through that. So anyone moving forward now and whatever you're doing, be strong. Don't let things, there'll be people trying to block us and this and the other, but you have to keep pushing. And like I say, Imam Muhammad and I, our relationship came on its own. And when we met, you know, you've heard some of that. He said, I'm saying this to you in private. And people tried to pick that from me and would say, the Imam said such and such and such and such when y'all met. And I was supposed to say, no, he didn't. He said this. But anyway, I'm almost about to wrap this up. Let me just show you a little more. But I'm showing you how that happened with me speaking before the Imam the first time. The Imam asked me to come and make some comments. In Maryland, that didn't happen. He called me and said what he said about the book. But not only the book, it just meant so much, and it still means so much. But not only did he get a front page cover of the Muslim Journal, the Imam started selling the book himself and taking it everywhere that he could go to help people understand the difference. And here you see Imam W.D. Muhammad Publications, that the Imam now he starts selling the book himself and taking it wherever he could. He really, really thanked me constantly and appreciated this work that we had done and continue to do, and our relationship just continued to grow. So I just want to show you this here. Also, now, although I'm talking about the book, I hope you're getting the bigger message. The bigger message is, like many of you all and others, maybe people blocked you or got in the way of getting things to the Imam, which we know. But our bigger point here is, yes, it was that was my first time ever being asked by the Imam to speak, so I thought everything followed a straight up protocol. You tell them to do something, they do it. And so we would have spoke, but the Imam saw what happened, and somebody invited me to speak at Chicago State. My good friend Mahdi, who we developed a friendship in Chicago, and I was the whole keynote speaker, as you can see, and Imam Muhammad was there, and he continued to move this book. 95, 96, I'll show you a clip from 95 when he encouraged people to get it. And then when he was at Princeton University, February 28th, 1996, when they asked him a question about what's the difference.
Just like Imam Mustafa El-Amin, the author of the Nation of Islam and Islam, that so clearly showed us the difference between the Nation of Islam and the real religion of Islam. There's that book. I recommend it to anybody that didn't read it. If you have any questions about
this is 1995, I think October 5th.
And what is real, what is Islam, you should read that book. It will help you out a lot. Yes. There was a brother from, actually he was from the Nation of Islam. He was a young man in the Nation of Islam, a teenager in fact. I believe that he was only about maybe 18 or 19 when the leader of the Nation of Islam passed in 1975. That was my father, Elijah Muhammad. And he wrote a book recently on the difference between the Nation of Islam and Islam. His name is Mustafa El-Amin. I wish we had that book here. I would just give it to you. It would save me a lot of time, and you a lot of time. But I'll quickly try to get the difference.
This is February 28th, 1996.
He prints all his books, and he has studied the language of the Nation of Islam and my language, and he's written on the two, the Nation of Islam and now. So I think he'd be a good person to have here. Language sensitive person for the Dawah, which of the Nation of Islam and my language, and he's written on the two, the Nation of Islam and now. So I think he'd be a good person to have here. Language sensitive person for the Dawah.
Okay, just want you to know that our relationship, it didn't come easy. And for all of you all that do good work and try to help, just keep doing what you can, even with Imam Muhammad's absence. Just know, as the brother said, his friends may become our friends, but his enemies will definitely become our enemies. But we just keep moving forward and never give up. And that's what I basically did after that first block. Then one thing led to another. Here they had a tribute to Imam Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad, and he was to be there, but they had me to be the keynote speaker in Detroit, which, alhamdulillah, led to this being a part of this tribute and this type of coverage. I'm honored, so people will try to get in your way, that's life, but you keep faith in Allah and keep trying to do what you can do. And we know, as our leader has passed, that he wouldn't want us to go to the grave with him. So we will have challenges. Just keep doing what you can do and have faith in Allah. And as I mentioned from Surah 35, Allah said, whatever he opens up to mankind of his mercy, there's none that can close it. And whatever he closes, there's none that can send it forth.
At that time, but brother Imam, I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity and thank you for the time, for your knowledge. To bless you with success, good health, and bless you with great understanding. I know you have great understanding, and I'm just overwhelmed. But from my heart, I really want to try to make a contribution to the advancement of our Islam. I really want to do my best. I appreciate any advice. Makes it very safe.
Yes, it is. Then my desire to have this opportunity to meet you in person. And as I said, but you can publish that you met with me.
Okay.
And
I appreciate that.
And I wish you well.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But you can publish that you met with me.
Okay.
And
I appreciate that.
And I wish you well.
I appreciate that.
That
I met Imam Muhammad when I was in my 20s in August 1987 in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, on our property we called over there. I used to write him letters on little yellow sheets of paper when I was young, seeking advice about a subject that I became interested in from my experience in the Nation of Islam. When I finally had a chance to meet him, our spirits connected, and it has been that way for 17 years. And I don't intend to let anyone break that connection. I intend to move.
And we're going to close, let you know, I made up my mind after what happened in Maryland, like I had disappointed the Imam, even though I hadn't, they had actually blocked me or whatever you want to do, got in the way, said I wasn't there, etc. And like it disappointed our leader, so I definitely made my mind up that I wasn't letting anything stand in my way of helping the Imam, and if I need to get to him for something important, that's what I did. So when you see some of these things and know our relationship, it grew stronger, but it wasn't easy, brothers and sisters. And people need to also know the transition from the Nation of Islam to universal teachings of Islam. We thank Allah for allowing that to happen and thanking him for our leader, his strength, his courage, his sincerity, but it didn't come without struggle. So we thank Allah for all that he's given us, and he say, do you think you'll say you believe and not be tried and tested? For surely we tried and tested those before you. So alhamdulillah, brothers and sisters, may Allah guide us, protect us, and have mercy on us. And I hope I've shared something that may be of some benefit. And then inshallah, we'll get back to that letter, the last thing I wrote, that we covered about 2004, okay, that's relevant to the community as well. Assalamu alaikum.